Mike with Lene Insurance Group right here in Oklahoma City. Now, if you're like most people, you know that Oklahoma City's been hit with 4 catastrophic weather events in just the last 30 days. Starting out with an April major hailstorm that hit Oklahoma City, then of course in May having the Edmond tornado that moved on to Kearney, caused even more damage, the devastating Moore tornado, and then again last night having the tornado in Reno. All of these storms also had devastating hail associated with them. So what this has done is it's caused a lot of Oklahomans to really look at their homeowners insurance policy and see what coverages that they have, what changes that they need to make. But if you're like most people, sometimes it's hard to read through that and see what changes to make. So let me kind of help you real quick, guide your attention to just 4 parts of the policy to really focus in on and make sure those coverages are set up properly. Of course, share this information with your friends and family, coworkers, and on Facebook to help all Oklahomans out in this time moving forward. So the first thing to look at is dwelling coverage. Of course, it seems easy to know how much coverage you need on the dwelling, but where people get stuck is when they add on to the house, make changes to the house without telling their homeowner's insurance company or their agent. So let me give you a real quick guide on how much coverage you need per square footage of your house. So if your house is up to 2,000 square feet, basic amenities, you probably need roughly between $100 and $120 a square foot for rebuilding. So if you've got a 1,500 square foot home, you should have no less than $150,000 in coverage on your house, on the homeowner's policy. You could have even as high as $200,000 for a 1,500 square foot home. If your home is 2,000 and 3,000 square feet with nice amenities, granite countertops, wood floors, here and there, you're probably looking between $125 to $145 per square foot, depending on the amenities in the house. So on a 2,000 square foot home, it's not uncommon to see $250 to even as high as $325 or $350 in coverage, but no less than $250. On a 3,000 square foot home plus, you're probably looking at $150 per square foot is what you should see on your homeowner's insurance policy. That number can be much, much higher depending on the amenities in the home and, of course, the size of the home. But that gives you just a little bit of a guide. So look real quick. Is the coverage on your house accurate with the amount of square footage that you have? If not, make sure you call your insurance agent to make those changes before a storm ever hits. The second thing you're going to want to look at is other structures coverage. This is for barns, sheds, pools, fencing, anything in the backyard that stays with the house if you ever happen to move out. Where people get stuck at the time of a claim is they forget to tell their insurance company that they've added on a barn, that they've put in a nice wrought iron fence, or they put in a pool. Make sure you call your agent and tell them that so they can make sure the coverages are appropriate. So look at your other structures coverage, make sure that they fit what you have in the backyard. Limits, the third thing is what's called limits of liability underneath your contents. A lot of people aren't aware that there are actually certain items in the house that have limits on the homeowner's policy. The most important one, of course, is jewelry coverage. On typically every policy out there, jewelry is limited to somewhere around $1,000 per item, $2,000 or $2,500 total, very low. So if you need more coverage, just call your agent. With American National, we can increase that coverage for very, very little out of pocket. We can go up to $150,000 in jewelry coverage, so you'll have more than plenty if need be. So again, look at the internal limits. Jewelry is one thing that typically gets changed, but there's also limits for coins. Guns have a $3,000 to $5,000 limit. Computers have a $3,000 to $5,000 limit. Silverware, Persian rugs, baseball cards, comic books. Those are the main ones. Any of those can be increased with no problem whatsoever, but you got to make sure and call your agent to make sure that those do get increased. So again, it's called limits of liability underneath the contents or the personal property section of your homeowner's insurance policy. So check that out as well. The fourth thing is the roof coverage. Now, unfortunately, this is one thing that you may not be able to change, but it's something to know ahead of time so you know what to expect at the time of a claim. In Oklahoma, roofs are covered one of two ways, either full replacement, which is great, or actual cash value. The difference is on an actual cash value roof, the roof is depreciated at the time of a claim, giving you less money to replace that roof. So that means that you may have to come out of pocket to afford to replace that roof with an actual cash value coverage. So how do you know? Really, the best thing to do is just ask your agent, hey, is my policy full replacement or actual cash value on the roof? And they'll tell you. Sometimes you can read through the policy and find out, but it's just difficult. The language is sometimes difficult with some policies out there. So the best thing to do is just call your agent, and they'll be able to tell you. That may not be something you can change. If you have actual cash value, if it's an older roof, that is standard nowadays in Oklahoma. But if you have a newer roof, say, within the last 7 years, and you have actual cash value, you may call us, see if there's something that we can do to get full replacement on that roof. We may be able to. So that may be something that can't change, just depending on how old the roof is. So those are the 4 things. Dwelling coverage, make sure it's accurate with your square footage. Other structures, make sure the coverage fits what you have in the backyard. Limits on your contents, make sure that you're comfortable with the limits that are under the contents policy, and then of course the roof coverage. Just know what you have so you can prepare. Over the last couple of weeks though, we have received a lot of questions from clients asking, hey, what do I need to do to prepare for a major tornado if it ever hit my house? There's really a couple things. One, make sure the coverages are accurate. That's very, very important. The second thing, if you get a tornado shelter, it's very important. Nothing is more important than your life, so get a tornado shelter. 3, so a couple things people don't think of, videotape your contents. Go throughout the entire house before a claim, so do it now. Videotape all of your contents. Pull out drawers. Videotape the Tupperware. Belts, socks, shoes, everything in the house. You'd be surprised on how quickly that adds up, and that's what you have homeowners insurance for, to replace everything in an event like that. So we want to document it and make sure you get the full value out of your claim. So videotape your stuff. And then the final thing is to digitize your pictures. There are services out there that'll scan all of your pictures and send them back to you. One thing that people always say after a catastrophic event, that they lose everything, the one thing they always want back are the pictures. Thanks to modern technology now, you can have a service, have a company go out. You send them your pictures, they scan them, they send them back to you with the hard drive, and you put that hard drive in a separate location so that you have those memories if something ever does happen. Of course, that doesn't take care of the claim. It's still a very difficult situation, but it just makes the process a little bit easier going through that. Feel free to ask any further questions that you might have. You can reach us online, LeneInsurance.com, call 217-8851, or find us on Facebook at Lene Insurance Group. Feel free to ask any questions that you might have moving forward. We'd be happy to help. Take care.